How beef cattle are raised is one of the most controversial topics in agriculture today. Most cattle spend the final months of their lives in feedlots, where hundreds and sometimes thousands of cows are confined to pens. Here they are fed special grain-rich diets instead of grass that is their natural food. They are also given dietary supplements that often include growth hormones and antibiotics. Cattle weren't always raised this way though, and a look back at the past methods of cattle raising highlights practices that sustainable farmers today are trying to recover. In its early years, Sahuaro Ranch was a diversified farm. In addition to fruit, it raised cattle, hogs, and chickens. Cattle were the farm's main source of income starting in the 1890s when the drought hit the Salt River Valley and damaged many of its fruit trees. Most of the cattle raised here in the Salt River Valley were grass-fed, which means they ate alfalfa. They were either turned loose to graze in pastures or confined in corrals and fed alfalfa hay. Farmers experimented with other feeds such as sorghum and barley, but hardly any cattle here were grain-fed in the way that cattle are today. None of them were given hormones, antibiotics, or dietary supplements, which did not exist then. It's important that we not idealize cattle production in Arizona at this time. The beef market was already a national market when Sahuaro Ranch was established, and Arizona ranchers quickly became a part of it. By the First World War, cattle from all over Arizona were being brought to the Salt River Valley to be finished or fattened. They were then sold to local slaughterhouses or shipped to Los Angeles or Kansas City for slaughter. Although most of the beef eaten here was raised and processed locally, even Arizonans ate beef imported from the Midwest. However, there were several important differences between these early feeding operations and modern-day feedlots. The older operations were much smaller, which meant fewer cattle and less manure, which in large quantity causes water pollution. Older feedlots consumed much less energy, for they were not mechanized like the modern ones are. And the cows are healthier thanks to a more natural diet like alfalfa, less crowding, and greater freedom of movement around the feedlot.